I don't usually shake it. I usually have my little itty bitty whisk.
I like when you shake it.
Make this easy vegan stir-fry sauce to suit all of your stir-fry needs. Rice, noodles, veggies, you name it. I'll show you how to throw together a delicious weeknight stir-fry that won't be lacking in flavor. Hello, I'm Catherine, and I make a version of this recipe nearly every week, but I have never written it down, filmed it, and shared it with you. So that is what today is all about. I figure that if I turn to an easy stir-fry when it's 5 p.m. and I haven't put any thought into what we're having for dinner that night, then maybe you do too. And when I'm in that borderline hangry state, I don't want to think too hard. So this is the easy stir-fry sauce that I turn to, and I know that if I add a base, a protein, whatever veggies are in my fridge, we'll have a great meal. So how do I make my universal stir-fry sauce? You know that I love having only a few pantry and fridge staples from which I can make all of the sauces that I need. Gone are the days where I had so many half-used bottles of condiments and dressings. So going into this jar is 3 tablespoons tamari or soy sauce, 2 tablespoons maple syrup, 1 tablespoon rice vinegar, half a tablespoon sesame oil, 1 teaspoon chili garlic sauce, 2 tablespoons water, 1 inch fresh grated ginger, and 2 teaspoons cornstarch or arrowroot starch for thickening. Shake until combined and it's ready to use. You can, of course, make this in a bowl and whisk all the ingredients together, but this jar method is really handy if you're going to prep this in advance. And I would say if you were making this sauce in advance or making a bigger batch, I just wouldn't add the cornstarch until right before you're going to cook with your sauce. That way you can make sure that your cornstarch is going to activate properly and actually thicken the sauce. But if you are a food prepper and you want to make this in advance, then it should keep for quite a while because these are all pretty stable ingredients. Now, I love the flavor that this combination creates. It's salty, it's a little spicy, a little sweet, but if you don't have any of these ingredients, if they're not pantry staples for you, then you can of course make some substitutions with these. So as a Canadian, we almost always have maple syrup in our fridge, but I actually used the last of it the other day. So today I used agave as the liquid sweetener. Any liquid sweetener will work, and you can use a granulated sugar, but I would suggest starting with just 1 tablespoon instead of 2 for granulated sugar, because a lot of the times they can be sweeter than a liquid option. If you don't have rice vinegar, you can substitute that with any other acid. I would suggest lime juice as my first choice, but you can use apple cider vinegar, white wine vinegar, lemon juice. If you happen to have Marin, then that is a great option. And if you want to make this oil-free, you can omit the sesame oil and use vegetable broth or aquafaba. Those options won't carry as much rich flavor, but you'll still have a good sauce. And you can instead actually use a bit of a nut butter, which will change the flavor profile, which will change the flavor profile, but it'll be awesome. Who doesn't like a peanut butter stir-fry sauce? And finally, chili garlic sauce. I love using this as my hot sauce because it combines both chilies and garlic. And I don't always want to chop garlic. But if you don't have this, then you can substitute any other hot sauce that you do have. And when you grate your ginger, just grate a bit of garlic in as well. And you can even substitute the chilies with something like red pepper flakes. Oh yeah, and a good tip about ginger is that you can freeze it whole like this. So my ginger was always going bad, but just freeze it, and then when you need to use it, it's super easy to grate when it's frozen. And you don't even have to peel it if you wash your ginger first, or when it's frozen like this, it's easy to just like scrape the skin off. Handy tip. My final note for this universal vegan stir-fry sauce is that you want to make sure that the cornstarch thickens and activates. So you want to make sure that your pan or your wok is hot enough when you add this sauce so that it starts to lightly boil as soon as it hits the pan. If the sauce doesn't bubble, then it won't activate and it won't thicken. On the other hand, if you want a runny, loose stir-fry sauce, then just omit the cornstarch. Oh, I almost forgot. Since this is a universal stir-fry sauce that you can use to coat your rice, noodles, veggies, tofu, a good rule of thumb is to use 2 tablespoons of sauce per serving. So this recipe makes 125 ml of sauce, or half a cup. So this is good for 4 servings. And for the cost, my recipe cost me $1 per 100 ml versus about $1.35 per 100 ml of a store-bought stir-fry sauce. Now I'm going to put together my stir-fry, and you're going to want to watch until the end of the video for the price of this dish. Today I'm using brown rice as my base, my crispy baked tofu as my protein, and this is a brand new recipe. It's linked below for you in the description, as are all the recipes you'll see here today. And for my veggies, I'm going to use some carrot, red bell pepper, bok choy, and some onion. Let's make it. Heat a dash of oil, water, or broth in a large sauté pan or wok. Sauté 1/4 cup sliced onion for 1 to 2 minutes until fragrant. Add 150 grams sliced carrot, 1 sliced red bell pepper, and 150 grams sliced bok choy. Season with salt and pepper and cook the veggies for 5 to 8 minutes until softened. If your pan has a lid, you can put the lid on to allow the veggies to steam and cook a little faster. Add half the vegan stir-fry sauce and make sure that the heat is high enough that the sauce lightly bubbles when it hits the pan. Stir to coat the veggies and cook 2 to 3 minutes. Add 4 cups cooked brown rice and 350 grams crispy tofu. Cover with the remaining sauce and stir to coat. Cook for another 2 to 3 minutes until the sauce has thickened and everything is heated through. Remove from the heat and serve. Garnish with green onion, toasted sesame seeds, or roasted nuts. So this stir fry comes together pretty quickly once you have all of your ingredients prepped. And I usually prep the ingredients in the 25 to 30 minutes it takes for the rice to cook. And if I don't feel like cooking rice, then I make this quite often with soba noodles, which take about half the time. And if I don't have the patience to bake the tofu, then I just pan fry it for about 5 minutes before adding the veggies.
This crispy tofu? Oh, so good.
It's super easy, just a few seasonings tossed onto extra firm tofu, and then you bake it for 20 minutes, and it's super, super crispy. Do you want to know the trick for making super curly green onion?
Maybe you're like me and you thought, God, my green onions aren't curly enough. But here I am.
I learned this in a Food 52 video, and I've always wanted to use it, so I used it on this recipe.
This matches your hair.
To do that, all you have to do is slice your green onion into kind of like longer, thinner slices and submerge them into ice water, and they curl up. And then they just like make a pretty garnish, which makes me happy.
It's the little things. Straight green onions, pff, so yesterday. It makes it feel like a fancier dinner.
For the cost?
Didn't we already do the cost?
We did the cost for the stir fry. This is the 4th video we've shot this weekend. So I think you're done. I know what we're doing. So we've done the cost for the stir fry sauce. This is the cost for the stir fry dish as a whole. This makes 4 servings and cost me just under $9, which is about $2.25 per serving. And the crispy baked tofu as the protein source costs about $4.30 Canadian. If I were to make this with 350 grams of chicken, the cost for the chicken would be about $6.50. And if I use shrimp as the protein, the shrimp would be $8.75. So the tofu, still a good protein, and it'll maybe save you a few bucks.
Some peanuts on here, and sesame seeds, there's other protein. This is great. This is so good. Spice up your weeknight. It's not spicy, but you know.
It has a little bit of kick from the ginger. You know how like ginger kind of just sticks it to the back of your throat a bit? And then the chili garlic sauce.
So good. It's a nice sunset here. Let's eat this and go to the beach.
If you like this video, hit that subscribe button and tune in next week. Brian will be more awake, I think.